Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I want to talk about a topic I haven't chosen a name or a description for yet, but it is definitely a topic. It's definitely a thing, only I don't know what thing it is, so I cannot kind of like give an introduction. Hopefully by the time I finish speaking I will figure it out, I will figure out what it is I'm actually talking about. But it has to do with understanding and operating mental things, concepts in regards to human relationships, I think. So what triggered this was I need my glasses, was my fucking scrolling. That led me to this "Am I the asshole?" story, which I'm gonna read and then maybe link. The story goes like this. My boyfriend loves stew. He wants to eat it every day for every meal. His favorite stew is beef tips and vegetables from a local place, but it's really expensive, like $47 for a big bowl. Brackets, they don't do small orders for takeout. And leftovers gross him out, so more than half of it gets wasted. We've had a couple of arguments about it. He says I don't understand his brain. This person's boyfriend is autistic. I say he doesn't understand our budget. Recently I looked up some recipes, including doing a dissection of the takeout soup. Why is it a soup now? Was it a different soup? I'm confused. And tried my hand at making a home-cooked replacement for stew night. For stew night. What? Okay. Like, it's cited as it was given. He loved it for a few days, and then one night he was hanging out with me in the kitchen and saw me put tomato paste into the pot. He was really upset and demanded that I make the soup. Is it soup or stew? The soup without the paste. I told him it wouldn't... Ooh, I think I'm understanding something. Okay, I will have to deal with it. So I told him it wouldn't taste the same, and he said it would be better because he hates tomatoes and they're not a safe food for him. So I made the soup with no tomato paste. And big surprise, something felt off about it to him. Instead of admitting that the tomato paste was necessary, he threw a fit and told me he didn't want home-cooked food anymore if I was going to play with him and not take his safe food seriously. Oh god, that's too hard. Okay, anyway, I'm gonna, like, why am I reading it? Shit. That hurts, that just hurts my brain. I will link to it. God created linking. Anyway, I read this shit, and it continues for on and on. I read this shit yesterday, and well, I had the same kind of situation having right now. It's just, it hurts, and I'm my head hurts, like it's difficult to like follow it. I think I understood something now, but it's not relevant. Anyway, whatever. Fuck! Why did I read it? So yesterday I read it, and I was left with this state of like headache and confusion about like, what is it about? Like, this is a text, there is a narration, and I can feel that there are like emotions there. Like, this person is like, they're not chill, they're not happy, they're kind of distressed about something, they have kind of some problem, and I can see that they're describing some kind of like limiting circumstances, and there is another person they're describing which also has like some emotions and some limiting circumstances, and they want something. Like, this text is there, like it's kind of like a question, but like I don't understand the question, so I think, okay, maybe like I will click on the maybe I will make a mistake and click on the fucking comments and read those, and there are like thousands of fucking comments of people discussing it, and like no one is actually explaining like what the question is. Like, there was no dissection. There was no dissection of this whole text. Like, there was no like literally analysis for me. They were just like people operating some concepts from there and bringing more things to the table, and it just became more and more confusing, and I was like, shit, this is not the first time in my life, and I struggle with why, like, are we contractually obliged to like autistic people to say that we struggle with something? I mean, I hate it. I think I hate these kind of narratives that I have been subjected to in my life. These "am I the asshole" stories, or also like people do it in real life, and it's usually about, like, I don't know, your friends, for example. So they're talking about maybe like their other friends or their partners, and they're like describing these like multi-level kind of like situations. Or like, I remember my partner would discuss his other partners with me, because we were like open relationships, and it was like, please, someone understand what I mean. There is this type of conversation where people kind of try to bring to the table this kind of discussion about some kind of relationship problem, kind of situation, and they have some emotions. So people do that. Like, and she said, and then he said, and then I did, and then he did. These sort of things. Usually when I'm doing this, I'm imagining that the only person, like the only kind of people who can tolerate this are like other autistic people, and there is kind of some, I imagine there to be some level of tolerance for my bullshit. But because yesterday I saw like thousands of comments, and a lot of them, they were like, yeah, I'm also autistic and blah 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 and this and that. So like a lot of autistic people are like able to engage in that, and I'm assuming no, but like they're not at gunpoint, they're not being forced to do that. So they're kind of like discussing it themselves. They can. And like I didn't see any comments of like, I didn't see any comments as in like, what like is all of that even supposed to mean? Can please someone explain like what? So I was just, like, now it feels like it feels very lonely, you know, that I'm an alien, like like an alien. I'm an autistic. But I'm still hoping that someone, like maybe like eventually when I die or something, I mean, hopefully I would love to have some kind of answers to this situation that I haven't still yet described. But yeah, I'm hoping there's going to be like a specialist in the brain, the kind of brain that I have, and they would say, oh, it's this and that, and this is how you can translate this situation for your understanding. And I would be like, oh, okay. But if not, like maybe after I die and YouTube is still around, and like some other poor soul like me, they accidentally see this video and they like, oh shit, yeah, that's a problem. There was another person like that, and maybe like something that I'm saying right now is gonna like give them more insight. Anyway, these kind of conversations are very difficult for me because these are all like theories, very poorly justified theories of mine. Just like, why do I have this reaction? And I think it's kind of like, at the same time there is too much information, and at the same time there isn't enough like relevant information, data. There isn't enough data. There are too many unknowns. It's basically all unknowns. And it feels like if, dear listener, if you have ever heard about the infinite hotel, like math kind of equations, so like how math deals with infinity, I know that a lot of people find it really, really difficult, and like they just, oh no, like I cannot do that. And I know that for many people it's like it's an effort still. Like for me it's also an effort, but it's like pretty, it's kind of like normal level of effort that I could, it's not something insurmountable for me. But like if you're that kind of person for whom dealing with these infinite hotel, like an infinite, like a bus, like infinite number of buses with infinite number of tourists arrive at an infinite hotel, and they ask the receptionist how they could accommodate them, and like if this puts you in a distress of like for me now, like I don't remember the solution, and I doubt that I would be able to figure it out, but like I know it's doable. It's just like it's the matter of thinking a little bit, of like considering a few points and like revising something, and I would be, oh, okay, that's okay, infinite number of buses. But if like you have like this state of panic or something, the fuck, then this is how this feels for me. I wrote like a script here. So this whole Am I the Asshole story is about like fucking 9 paragraphs, and I basically can go through like maybe 60% of the first paragraph before I start, like my brain starts just going into overdrive and just failing. So kind of did, I made an analogy with maths. I don't even remember any maths. Why is it, I don't understand why, like I often try to explain things with maths, even though like I'm pretty, like, it's very rusty and it's very dusty, like I don't remember anything, but like this is where my brain defaults. Like maths and like I don't know, like physics, concepts in physics or something like this, like logic. Whew. Anyway, so my analogy is like that. So the first phrase is, my boyfriend loves stew. This is like, okay, there is like a variable, there is an x, and I am given a characteristic about this x. So like x, for example, is bigger than 0. That's what I wrote. Yeah. So my boyfriend loves stew to me sounds like x is bigger than 0. Okay. Like x is x. Yeah. It's an unknown because it's like somebody's like a boyfriend, and I don't know both of them. I don't know either of them. And like loves stew. Like also, you know, the sign is very important. It's like bigger because loves is also, it's a range of things. I feel this might sound offensive, but this is genuinely how I feel. I feel like retarded. While I'm thinking about it, but this is what it is. I feel like I'm incapable of something, like not something, of almost everything is very basic, and I'm like, but how have I existed for 37 years on this earth if I'm incapable of I don't know, if of anything. But anyway, my boyfriend loves stew is like, there is a variable, an unknown, there is a range, like loves, a range of possible values, and there is some like stew is a kind of like a number on the number continuum. I don't remember the terminology, on the line that goes from like the negative numbers to the positive infinity. Oh god. I kind of feel like this is very popular content, and these are very common conversations, but so I assume that people like actually understand it, and they manipulate this mental object in their minds. But I'm fucking explaining it with maths. That's what I have to do anyway. Like stew is like a value, like a certain value, so I put 0. The next sentence is, he wants to eat it every day for every meal. This kind of doesn't really add any kind of mathematical like or logical, like, you know, like this is the premise, and like if the premise is true, then or like then not, or something. These kind of like logical trees or mathematical kind of steps. So to me it's like, it sounds like x is even, for example, or like x is a whole number, so it's not a fraction. So it kind of, not exactly, because with the numbers it kind of narrows the infinity of the numbers x can be. In here it's just kind of like adjacent information. Kind of doesn't add anything. It's just like one more like x is red. I mean, okay, so like when you solve the equation, you write the x with red. Okay, so like I can do that. Okay, this is your story, your rules. So like, okay, I'm taking in this information for now. Like I'm okay actually. And then, oh shit. My writing is crap, and also like I started from here and I went down and then I went back up, so that now I don't know where to go. So then the next the next sentence, like his favorite stew is beef tips and vegetables from a local place. This, the first section of the sentence. This to me feels like an equation, like an actual equation, that there is something that feels like it needs solving. It's not very complicated, but it needs some kind of solving. Kind of feels like this this mathematical problem is, before it was like what we're given, and now the problem starts. So I wrote down an equation like 5x plus 11y equals 66. I might try to solve that later if it's possible. I'm not sure. I will try. I don't remember anything. And then the sentence continues and is like, but it's really expensive. And kind of here it starts being like a bit more kind of shaky for me. Because, so we have this x is over 0, x is red or x is even, 5x plus 11y equals 66. Okay, for now, like, what do I do now? So like, if it's math, like now, like that should be the kind of the task. What you have to do should come at this point, like find something. But here it says like, but y is not a whole number. Or like, but y has to be represented as a fraction. Or like, but y can't be bigger than x. And I'm kind of like, but maybe it has to be bigger than x. Like, I haven't solved the equation. This is just this is a random equation. I've not checked it. This is just no. It's not like these numbers are random. I just pulled them out of my ass. So there is already a rule that I don't know if it can be like, if it breaks the equation, and like, what do I do if it breaks the equation? So in here with this expensive is like, okay, so we're introducing some other kind of metric that I don't really, like, I don't know the boundaries of, like, what's expensive and why is it important, and like, what is the structure of your expensive and your expenses, and like the values you assign to different things that you spend money. So like all of this system is not given here. Okay. I'm not using mine because you're a different person. And for me, basically, everything is expensive. I feel that everything is expensive. Like, unless it's like, I don't know, 10 cents, then I'm, oh, okay, that's like normal price. If it's bigger than that, I'm like, oh shit, that's expensive, but what can I do? So this, here I start having troubles. And then they continue. So it's really expensive, like $47 for a big bowl. Brackets, they don't do small orders for takeout. This is so confusing. Like, I mean, okay, if you do a small order, it's usually expensive, like more expensive, like more dollars per like gram or something, because that's how fucking the market works. Capitalism works. Like if you buy five rubber cocks, one cock in this batch is gonna cost less than if you buy one rubber cock. That one rubber cock is gonna be more expensive. But then they explain that like the boyfriend, I assume, is just like takes the bowl and starts eating out of it, and then whatever is left, which is like more, he throws away. Have you heard of plates? like, can you separate it into two portions? And I mean, this is not even a problem, but I already see a few problems, and I'm like, do you not want to address them? Am I just to kind of like, am I to accept that this is just what it is, and I have to like, these are the, like, this is still laying out the rules of this task for me, and they're a bit insane. They're already a bit insane. So what my analogy is that so like it's really expensive, like don't yeah, like y can't be bigger than x, for example. The next sentence, the $47 sentence, is like, don't divide by y to figure out the value of anything in this equation, for example. So it's kind of like the what is that? This part of the task forbids me doing certain things, kind of limits me in what kind of operations I can do. So this whole section, like, I'm just gonna again, the original sentence is like $47 for a big bowl. Did I say for a big bowel? Like $47 for a big bowl. They don't do small orders for takeout, and leftovers gross them out, so more than half of it gets wasted. To me it sounds, don't divide by y to figure out the value of anything, because division is not available today. And if it turns out to be... What? What have I written? What did I write there? Odd. That's odd. So let's say we're trying to find y. So if y turns out to be odd, you will get kicked in the nuts. This is this is priceless. This is like good literature. I love it. Let me read it to you as a whole. So x is bigger than 0. X is even. 5x plus 11y equals 66. But y can't be bigger than x. Don't divide by y to figure out the value of y, because division is not available today. And if y turns out to be odd, an odd number, you will get kicked in the nuts. I kind of can operate at this level. Like if someone tells me what to do, like find y, I would be able to do something here. It's already a bit like Alice in the Wonderland, but I kind of can, okay, so like I might get kicked in the nuts through no fault of my own, but okay, like it's not the end of the world. And I cannot divide, and I'm not sure, maybe I might need to divide, but then like if I can't, I will just say so, that like the rule says that I cannot divide, so I cannot find y, this is my answer. And like if this earns me being kicked in the nuts too, then so be it. Or like division, you can kind of, sometimes you can do division, instead of division you can do multiplication, because they're like basically the same but opposite or something. So maybe I could figure it out, but so there is some kind of possibility of failure and like not being able to do the task, but like there's some